If you've got a 986 or a 987 Boxster, that is, Boxsters built between 1997 and 2012, you may have a problem with the convertible top not tucking properly into its frame when you close it. When the top is closed, it should look like this, with the cloth tucked behind the protective plastic exterior frame element. When it closes, an elastic band that's inside the top just pulls the rubber rim on the cloth inside of that frame, so it should just tuck right in as it closes. But the elastic breaks down over time, so the top can start kind of slipping out over the frame, which then looks like this. Here you see the edge of the top. It comes out from behind the plastic frame down here, and it tucks back in up here on top. Over time, this mars the plastic frame, and you can see on the driver's side how the friction and the difference in weathering left an impression. This is my 2008 Boxster base model, and when I bought it used at 42,000 miles, the top was already closing improperly like this, and I was doing it on both sides. Now at the time I didn't know it was a problem. I thought it looked odd, but it was tight, and there weren't any leaks, so I thought that it was just kind of how those crazy Germans designed it. It was a couple of years later that my mechanic said in passing, "Oh, I see you've got that problem with your top," and it just happens to a lot of these cars. So I figured out how to fix it, and I just wanted to share the simple fix with you. If you want to fix your Boxster top, if it's closing improperly like this, here's what you're going to need. You'll need a flashlight or a work light to see better in the dark areas of the inside of the folding top. You'll need some elastic ribbon or something functionally equivalent. I got this elastic ribbon from a Michael's craft store, and I chose yellow so I could see it against the existing material while I was working in the dark area of the top. It won't show once the repair is complete, so you can buy whatever color you want. You'll need a knife or scissors to cut the ribbon to length, and you'll need either a needle and thread or else a stapler. And you'll need the key to your 986 or 987 Boxster. I guess you'll also need a Boxster, one with a top that's closing improperly like this. When you open the top about halfway, you'll be able to see some of the metal folding skeleton, and you'll see inside the top itself. And if you look right in here, you'll see these two Velcro strips. These strips, they slide along this part of the skeleton and they hold part of the top in place. Just unfasten them so you'll be able to get better access to the inside of the top. This is how it's going to look when you finish the project if you use needle and thread, which is what I already did on the driver's side of my car. On the passenger side, which I'm going to fix now in this video, I'm going to use the stapler just to confirm that it works just as well as needle and thread. I think it will. Once you've unfastened the Velcro, find this oddly shaped cloth flap thing. The old elastic is attached to this piece of cloth, and then it's attached to some other area in the back of the top. The elastic is supposed to pull on this cloth flap, which in turn then it pulls on the edge of the roof to keep it inside the plastic frame. And you can see here that my original elastic is completely perished. Right now it's just a strip of non-stretchy cloth basically, and it's fully stretched out, so it just lets the top flap around. I need to attach some new stretchy elastic to it to make it work like it's supposed to. And the trick is to get the right amount of stretchiness without overdoing it. That is to say, if I pull the elastic too tight when I'm installing it, I might create too much tension and something could rip when the top is fully extended. I'm going to cut here a piece that's about twice as long as I need, and I'm going to fold it in half, doubling it up so that there's basically more material to work with on both ends that I'm attaching it to. It's not necessary. You could use a single strand. I just think that having twice as much material is likely to cause it to last a little bit longer. If I had this project to do over again, I would probably buy elastic that's wider, maybe an inch wide, because it would be a little bit easier to work with. I'm going to start by stitching, or in this case on this side, stapling one end of the new elastic to the oddly shaped cloth flap thing. Now, after I've got that attached to the cloth flap on this side, that's the easier part. Now I'm going to stretch the elastic a little bit out to where it's pulling some, but definitely not fully drawn, because I want it to have some stretch here but not be fully stretched. And I'm going to stitch or staple it, the other end of it, to the old elastic near the back of the old elastic strap. Not all the way back necessarily, but at least far enough back that I'm going to create some pull. I just needed to pull on that strip near the back and also on the cloth flap. So as it turns out, it's tricky to get the new and old elastic lined up in the stapler both together when I'm working back there. The needle and thread, which I used on the driver's side, was a little bit easier to manipulate because I could just kind of pinch them together and then cram a needle through there. But overall, I thought the needle and thread was more time consuming. I'm really not very good with a needle and thread, so I probably made a wretched mess of the stitching on the driver's side, and I could never really be sure whether I was doing enough stitching. And with the stapler, it's really easy to understand whether I've completely attached the pieces. This is how the finished repair looks. Now that I've attached the elastic on both ends, I'm going to test the top. The rubber rim of the top now slides neatly behind the protective plastic frame there, so it did exactly what I wanted it to do.
That's a result right there.
I'm going to open the top back up. I'm going to reattach these two Velcro strips that keep everything neat and tidy. And no one's ever going to see the yellow elastic. But I will say that since yellow is very sporty, having driven it afterward, I'm pretty sure using the yellow elastic made my car faster. Now the top opens and closes properly. So if you have this problem, you've probably also noticed that it can be difficult to get the top to latch with the handle. It requires a little bit more force than you might expect. And fixing this issue basically realigns everything on the top, and you'll find that the top closes easier and with less effort. If you have a 986 or 987 Boxster, you're probably going to need to perform this fix once and maybe even twice during the lifetime of your roof. At some point, other wear and tear, and I mean that literally, will mean that you just need to replace the whole top. But the Boxster top is a high quality part, and with the exception of maybe just this weakness, the glass window tops, not the plastic ones, they need to be replaced more often, but the glass window tops will last 15 or 20 years with proper care. I waterproof mine once or twice a year. You just take good care of it, it's going to last a long time.
All right.
This top is a 2008 part, so it's 10 years old and it's nowhere near needing replacement. I just needed to fix this little issue, and now it works basically just like new. By the way, if you're a 997 owner, that's the 911, you're not going to have this issue because the top and the frame of the 911 Cabriolet works differently. That top has other issues though, and I may make a separate video about fixing those. Ask questions in the comments, I'll be happy to answer them if I can. And if you people subscribe and like the video, then I'll make some more Porsche maintenance and driving videos.